Estamos aquí, ya está on stage. Valerie.
Viene, buenas tardes, Puerto Rico Comic Con. No. Pete.
Yo no escuché nada. ¿Tú
¿Verdad?
escuchaste algo?
No. O sea, tenemos a Aguilar acá con nosotros. Necesitamos gente pompeadera, gente hype. So, nuevamente, dímelo, Puerto Rico Comic Con.
¿Cómo la están pasando este weekend? ¿La están pasando bien? Bien, nuevamente, esa falta de energía. Es que están cansados.
Es que domingo es un día.
Bienvenidos a este panel. Mi nombre es Pete. Estoy como aquí con
Bucky Bye, hola.
Acá el Watcher.
somos los anfitriones de El Geek and Pod, el podcast oficial de Puerto Rico Comic Con, y Punky y Watcho van a ser los hosts de este Q&A. Bienvenidos y bienvenidas, la vamos a pasar bien. Recuerden que le pueden hacer preguntas a Zach, ahí en el medio está Luis, con la mano arriba. Vayan a donde Luis tiene el micrófono y le pueden hacer preguntas. Atrévanse, porque esto es parte de la experiencia, hacerle preguntas a sus personajes invitados favoritos. Así que, ¿estamos listos?
Vamos ahí. Vamos ahí acá.
Vamos a recibir a Zach, pero gente, yo quiero que este ballroom tiemble. Así que, ¿están listos?
¿Sí?
1, 2 y 3.
Yes.
You're the king, so.
Oh, perfect. Yes. Hello, how's it going? Thanks for coming.
So you mentioned that you came in on Thursday. So how's Puerto Rico life treating you? How's it been?
It's been amazing. It's absolutely beautiful here. I'm from Los Angeles, California, born and raised. I used to go surfing there when I was younger, and the water's so cold you always put on a wetsuit.
Yeah.
Something tells me that is not the case here.
Well, at start, you take a test.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the water's so warm. It was awesome. I spent an entire day on the beach. I am sunburned, actually. First time here. I mean, it's freaking awesome. Beautiful, beautiful place with amazing people. Thank you guys so much. It's been awesome.
Now, I know you've been in a lot of stuff, but now that I see your sweater, I gotta ask you. I love Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you have your boss, Friday, right beside you. Have you guys talked?
He is a legend, yeah, Giancarlo. It's so funny because I had met him before Cyberpunk was even cast or recorded. We share a same agent, so we met before behind the scenes. And he was like, "Oh wow, that's crazy. That's Gus from Breaking Bad." And so to see him in person and kind of get to know him, he's such a sweet guy, and he really brought it with Faraday. So a lot of people go back and watch our scenes in Cyberpunk, and they like the one where David is like screaming out Faraday's name. And people are like, "What? Like, how did you do that?" And I said, honestly, I knew Giancarlo was going to be in that scene, right, as Faraday. So I gave it 150% acting-wise because I know how good of an actor he is. And the way we record when it comes to anime is we never record together at the same time. So because I was recording before him, I wanted to make sure that if he heard my voice in the recording, that he's like, "Wow, that guy's good." So I wanted to do a good job for Giancarlo.
No, you did amazing. So,
Thank you.
Mi gente, a los que quieran hacer preguntas, pueden pasar donde está Luis en confianza, hacen una fila, también en el stand del evento nos van a apoyar a pasar, así que pueden ir en confianza en lo que hacemos preguntas aquí. So, talking about David, people know I'm kind of a hopeless romantic. How was doing that story being so love and tragic, and how you prepare for that?
Wow. To be honest, I didn't prepare at all, and I wasn't able to because every single scene that I did while recording Cyberpunk was a secret. The team purposefully kept it away from me, so I would ask them like, "Oh, I see Lucy," like in the first episode, or like we're kind of like getting hints of Lucy. I'm like, "Who is that? Who is that girl? Like, what is?" And they're like, "Oh, you'll find out." And they already have seen, those guys know everything about the show. So it was really interesting for me to kind of see it scene by scene. I would watch the scene first, and then I would record my lines right after it.
So basically, you went blind when playing David.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did not let me see, and I would ask them questions because I'm very, as an actor, I like to ask a lot of questions, probably to the point where it gets kind of annoying for the directors. Like, why is this guy asking so many questions? Like, just do the line. And I'm like, what happens in the very end? Like, where is this kind of leading to? And I had a feeling for the very end of the show, and yeah, it was sad. We all cried.
You made me cry, man. That's not cool. So,
Hi, I play a lot of Genshin Impact, and I love the live streams for every new version that you play with other characters. My question is that if you do the commentaries near the other voice actors, or is by Zoom, everything like that?
So like when we do the commentaries and stuff, do I record with them and do so for that one we do it all together when we're doing like the live streams and whatnot. So it's kind of fun. Like as you can see, like when you watch it, we get a chance to really play off of each other and kind of crack jokes and just say whatever we want within reason. Like the company's very much, they give us the bullet points to make sure we emphasize certain things about the game. Exactly. They're like, you guys have to emphasize this, but if you want to make jokes and stuff in between that, you can, but not too much.
Did you make the costume for Aerith when you recorded you as Aerith?
Oh yeah. So I did not make it at all. I just bought it.
Yeah, I know people are asking you to dress up as a Tanjiro.
Yeah, that one's next.
Yeah, I think you should dress like, disguise Tanjiro instead of like the,
Oh yeah, just like the typical one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like an entertainment district Tanjiro.
Oh.
When he was going undercover.
Yeah, I think his girl name for that is Sumiko.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sumiko. That's what they told me in Japan. They're like, Sumiko, and it's funny, I had to record like a promotional video for them, and they're saying something like, Sumiko. I'm like, who is Sumiko? And they're like, that's Tanjiro, but dressed as like a girl undercover. That would be funny.
It's a pleasure. I wanted to ask, what's the weirdest thing the voice director has ever tricked you into saying?
For who?
Anyone. The
Oh,
most
wow.
memorable one.
They haven't really, no one's really tricked me into anything yet, but I have heard some weird lines from Inosuke. When I was working on the show, Inosuke's voice actor definitely likes to drop some bombs, is what we call it. Like they're called youth bombs, and we'll just leave a weird recording. So there was a scene in Demon Slayer, there's a scene in Demon Slayer where Tanjiro was saying something like really emotional, and all of a sudden I just heard Inosuke come screaming at the top of his lungs through my headphones. He wasn't even supposed to be in that scene, but he just decided to leave a little something for me, and it really freaked me out. I was recording in the studio and I threw my headphones off of my head, and it just scared the crap out of me, to be honest. Yeah, so we have some weird moments. Definitely some inappropriate things have been said that I probably can't repeat. But oh my gosh, it's so freaking funny though.
Hello.
Hey.
My question is, what is that one line that just lives rent-free in your head forever? It could be any role that you've ever done.
Oh wow. Windblade! the beta version.
What is the weirdest question you ever had to ask?
Ooh, that I've ever been asked? Probably a guy who came up to me and he asked me if I would sign his chest. But it was very interesting. It was done in quite a magnificent way. He was wearing a very tight, thin black shirt, and he came up to me and he's like, sign my chest. I then proceeded to sign that man's chest.
Did you get a tattoo after? Do you know?
No, but he messaged me on one of my on Twitter or something, and he sent me a screenshot. He's like, Bro, 2 weeks later, it's still not washed off. I guess he probably doesn't shower.
Go ahead.
Hi, it's a pleasure. I've been playing Genshin since release date, and I just had a question. Is it team choice that Saga Aguilar doesn't have that much dialogue in the game? Because I got kind of jealous because when Honkai Star Rail came out, the Trailblazer, the main one, talks a lot. Like it takes more. Is it like a team decision or a game thing?
Yeah, I honestly am not too sure. The only thing I can think about is when the creators of Genshin Impact made the game, I think that it was heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild, like, open world game, checkpoints. So I think when they created Ether and Mumine, and I mean, this is just me guessing, I don't actually know for sure. I've asked them, and even the team that I work with doesn't know for sure, because I've never talked with the head creator of the game. So, I mean, yeah, I've never really spoken to those guys. They're in China, and I think they only speak Mandarin. So everything else is kind of like translated to us through multiple parties. But I would assume they kind of follow that same design. Like Link doesn't really speak in Zelda, and so they probably kept that kind of theme going. But as feedback from the fans came about when the game has slowly been going throughout these different patches, people have been putting in their notes saying, hey, I really wish that like the main character would talk a lot more because I really relate to them. And I think Genshin has tried to incorporate that as much as they can while trying to still keep like that main principle of the game intact with what they started with. So maybe that's why the protagonists talk a lot more in Honkai, is because they might have learned actually from Genshin that they're like, yeah, I think people want the protagonist to talk more.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Love your cosplay. So cool. Hey.
Triple check your experience during the game AI, the Somnium Files.
yeah. I had the Somnium Files. I played a character called Ota in that game. Yeah, he's a little stinky boy. It's funny because not a whole lot of people like the character. He's kind of not the best person ever. And he's very mean to his mom. But it was a lot of fun working on that game. I got to sing a song at the end too in character, which was definitely unexpected. I've never been asked by a client to do that before, so the entire cast, we all sang as our characters in one giant group song at the end of it.
So that's the first time you sing in any game or anime? Or?
Yeah, for the most part. I was a part of an animated feature that unfortunately has not been released yet, but I played a singing cat in one of the animated shows I was a part of, but unfortunately it hasn't come out yet. We recorded this back in 2020, so whenever I see the director, I ask him, when is it coming out? He's like, hell if I know, man, I wish. Hopefully soon it'll go to streaming or something.
Hi.
Hey.
I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite longest time duo?
Ooh, there's been so many good moments, I think, from the show. I love like any of the lines where he's like talking to Nezuko, I think are really sweet. So like a few of them maybe, no matter what, I will protect Nezuko. Or, for thank you. And like attacks movies, it's like, Hinokami Kagura, Burning Bones, Summer Sun. There's a lot of like great moments. It's like Scream when I love the scene with at the end of the Mugen Train movie with Rengoku and Akaza.
Please don't remind me of that.
Yeah, that was a really emotional moment.
I was going to ask you, when you read that script about, his fate, what happened to him, how did you feel about that? And if you had a choice, would you have saved Goku?
Oh, 100%. I would have loved for Rengoku to have more screen time and just kind of incorporate himself more in the show. And like, I guess that's the thing is I understand the death of the characters, the way Demon Slayer is in the plot, but I wish that the death would have happened later on in the series and not so early on. It was a big plot point, I guess, for Tanjiro to improve and to get stronger and realize, wow, just really understand what he's up against.
Hello, big fan of Demon Slayer. I have a question that what's the most funniest accident while filming Demon Slayer? The one that every time that you think about it, you just start laughing.
Oh wow. Nothing I can repeat. We've had some funny things happen for sure. Yeah. Probably the director has made some really hilarious jokes while recording, and sometimes it's hard to stay serious during the emotional scenes because everybody's always messing around and, you know, cracking jokes all the time.
Just a big family, just getting to know each other, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, when people come up to me, they ask me if I know, do you know this voice actor from the show, or do you know this guy? I'm like, I know everybody. Yeah, every single voice actor, I promise. Like, I know all of them. You know, I think something, not necessarily funny, but something kind of interesting that was really hard is when we first did the breathing techniques, right? Like, we're going through the breathing, and you see Tanjiro on screen, like, inhaling, and it's kind of like, and he's like inhaling the air. When we first did that, they told me to literally inhale, and it just sounded like I had really bad asthma. So it sounded like. So then we had to figure out a different sound, which is kind of like a sound, and it's an exhale, but do it in the form of like an inhale where it starts out slow and it goes. And so it's like he's sucking in the air.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, Sam.
Hey.
So, I want to talk about a lesser known game that you've been, 13 Sentinel Aegis Rim. I want to know how much you enjoyed playing as Keitaro, Hamburger.
Hamburger.
And as well, how was the whole experience? Because it's an intricate and complex game with a lot of storylines. So, how was being 13 Sentinels?
Yeah. Keitaro Miura, here to serve. It was super cool. When I first got the role, I don't believe I ever auditioned for him. I auditioned for another character that I can't remember the name of. And then they just cast me based off my voice and, you know, kind of the stuff I had done previously with the studio. I thought it was funny that he had a younger sister, because I play a lot of characters that have younger sisters for some reason.
Yes.
So I don't know why that is. I'm an only child too. I have no siblings at all, so I don't know why. But somebody from the studio decided that I'm apparently the best big brother ever.
Of course, right? Thank you.
You have like a very brotherly love kind of voice, like you show love to next people so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, just for some reason they just hear it in the voice like, he would make a good older brother. Sure.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm a big fan of your work.
Thank you.
And the question I wanted to make is, out of all like the characters that you voiced, which one has been like your favorite or like the most fun that you voiced?
Ooh, it's always hard to choose a favorite. I think if I were to choose a role that was just really special to me, it's probably just purely because of nostalgia. So I grew up watching anime. I was always a huge anime fan. As a kid, I watched Naruto, Death Note, Bleach, Code Geass,
Nice.
and Dragon Ball too. And so I got to have the opportunity to be a part of Dragon Ball. I was in Dragon Ball Superhero, and I played Dr. Hedo. So they flew me to Texas to record it, and I took a picture with like a giant Goku statue and everything, and I got to work with the voice actor of Vegeta because he is the director for the movie. So it was absolutely crazy to be a part of this franchise that I like grew up watching on TV when I would come home from like middle school as a kid. But yes, I got to play Dr. Hedo, the new creator of the androids.
Thank you.
Estaba hacer en español.
Okay.
¿Cuál ha sido tu personaje, con las personas que ha hecho la película de Demon Slayer? ¿Con cuál ha sido con cuál te has llevado mejor?
From the people that you've worked with on the Demon Slayer movies, which of the actors have you feel closer to?
Oh wow. I know, it's like telling me to choose my favorite. I know, there's so many people. I mean, I love the entire cast. I'm really glad. I'm glad that all of the people have been chosen for the roles because everyone's super chill and like really nice. And we really are just kind of one big family in this together. I think someone I was a huge fan of was Bryce Papenbrook, who plays Inosuke. So I was very familiar with his work before I got to be a part of this show. So to be able to work with him and call him not only a colleague, but a really good friend, he has been absolutely amazing in giving me advice to further my career and just helping me out. He's an amazing mentor. So if you ever have a chance to meet Bryce Papenbrook, highly recommend it. He's the nicest guy, but he will probably scream at you as he knows him. So be prepared. He's vicious.
Gracias.
Thank you.
I was going to ask you, I mean, in the Soren's Village arc, that ending with, you know, what happened with Nezuko, I mean, spoilers.
Spoilers.
That scene, I mean, it made me cry. I get goosebumps every time I remember. I think you did amazing, like showing the
Thank you.
emotion. How hard was to, like, record that, like, show so much emotion about, you know, your sister basically almost dying?
It was so difficult. In fact, I was like telling the director, I kept saying there were scenes that we were recording from it. I'm like, let me do it again. Like I can do it more. I can feel it more. Like let me do it one more time. And the director is always like, he kind of knows when he's gotten the best like that I can give him. He's like, trust me, it's good. Like you don't need to do it again. Like, I'm like, no, let me do it one more time. But it was really difficult. A lot of people don't know this, but for voiceover, we don't really practice the scenes a whole lot to do these roles. It's sort of like we get into the booth and they give us the script at that exact moment, and we just do it scene by scene by scene. So when I did Mugen Train, I remember it was 9 a.m. on a Monday, and they said, "Oh hey, guess what? This happens. Like Rengoku is like, okay, go ahead now, scream, cry, do all that."
Oh
Go.
my God.
And then it starts, and then they just start rolling it. It's like 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah.
Do they do that more for the honest reaction, or why do you think it's done that way?
Honestly, I think it's just the process of recording anime. For some reason, they've just always recorded anime that way. To be honest with you, it's probably just to record it faster, like have the scenes done. A lot of voice actors, we have already been trained to do improv, so kind of like you give me something, give me a script on a piece of paper, and usually I can turn it into something relatively fast.
Hi.
Hi.
Nezuko!
I have 3 questions. Can I ask them all?
Go for it, Nezuko!
So my first question is, was a line that you had to say in the show that it's like really weird. And you didn't want to like say it, but you still said it.
You didn't want to do it, but it was kind of like your job to do it. I don't know. I mean, honestly, you guys are giving me some really good questions. I have to think about it. It's just, we have done so much recording for Demon Slayer, sometimes it's hard to like pick out certain moments. had some weird moments. Let me think. Well, I thought it was funny. I love the scene with Inosuke and Tanjiro where he's like, "It's Kanpachiro," and he's like, "No, the name's Tanjiro Kamado." Yeah, I can't really think of anything else too weird.
So my second question was, what was the most funniest scene that you seen in the show?
Yeah, let me think. Recently, in this moment, I don't know if you've seen the new movie yet, but in the movie there is a very funny scene where Zenitsu kind of loses his marbles, if you will, and just goes off on Tanjiro and says some pretty funny stuff. So when we get to do the reactions, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have seen the show and you know that their faces are very animated. So I love doing like the when they're doing all the weird faces. I think it's really fun. That's okay.
Oh yeah, so my last question was how did you become a voice actor?
That's a great question.
How did you found out that you were gonna be one?
Yeah. So it's so funny. I'm born and raised from Los Angeles, California. When I was younger, my mom had me in acting, and I was like 7 years old, and I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was just memorizing scripts and going into rooms and reading for a panel of judges, right? Like a panel of people would be there. Like 6 different people would be in a room. I'm a 7-year-old. I go in there, read my lines, and I leave. And that's all you do for auditions. Every day, every other day, you're always doing auditions. And as a kid that age, I hated it. Did not like it at all. And so my mom said, "You know what? You don't need to do this anymore." And so I quit. And I had always loved video games growing up. I played a lot of Halo. I played Kingdom Hearts. I loved Kingdom Hearts 2. So one day I was listening to the voice actors from Kingdom Hearts and also from Naruto. I thought, I wonder what there are real actors behind their voices. So maybe let me go to YouTube. And so I went on YouTube and I looked up who played those characters, and I thought it was really fascinating because I didn't think the people behind the characters necessarily looked like the characters they played. So I thought, wow, this is really cool. I could play anybody if it's just my voice. So it's kind of up to me to be able to play that character if I train my voice enough. So I started going online, looking up auditions, whatever I could, just on Google, and I begged my mom for a $30 microphone, please just buy me a mic so I can record stuff. And I watched YouTube videos of how to record, how to use software. Yeah, just kind of starting from the ground up. I ended up taking a voice acting class after convincing my mom. She's like, I don't know, this is kind of I don't know what this is weird. And yeah, long story short is I started when I was about 12 years old doing this. I ended up winning a competition in 2014 though at Anime Expo in Los Angeles. So I went to an anime convention, took a ticket, went up on a stage and read a script for a casting director that was in LA.
Okay.
And she called me back 2 weeks later and said, "Hey, congratulations, you won the competition." And ever since then, I've been working with that studio, and I just kind of kept getting roles and reaching out to people. There's a lot in the whole process of being able to do this, not only just the acting ability that it takes and always being able to learn something new, just kind of being absorbent, being like a sponge and being able to absorb everything around you and take it all in and understand like where you need to improve and what you need to do next. But also there's a lot in the business side, which I didn't fully understand. There's a lot of like emailing people and sending your demo reels and following up with other people and just trying to get on their audition list so you can get into a certain studio so you can be a part of a certain game. I mean, there's really a bunch to it, so it's a never-ending journey and it just continues. But I feel really blessed and super fortunate to just be in this position and be able to do something that I love.
Thank you. I didn't really think this would ever happen to you, so.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much for coming.
That's guys.
Hello, Zach.
Hey.
Is there any other role that you want to play in the future?
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
We do.
I'm like so crazy about that show. I have watched it. I've seen every single episode probably 50 times.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I would love to be a part of that universe in any capacity. Yeah, that would be amazing. Maybe like as the Cabbage Man's.
My cabbages!
My cabbages! That'd be awesome.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, thank you.
Have you thought of like going on live action?
Yeah, I've had some interesting audition opportunities and stuff. For the most part, I'm really comfortable in just doing like voiceover stuff. It's super fun and I love the community and I know most of the people now, so I'm kind of chilling, whereas live action stuff, that's what I used to audition for as a kid. I have done some stuff, like if you look it up online, please don't look it up online. If you were to look it up, you might end up finding a commercial that I did a long time ago as like a little kid, or like photos of me. I used to have like the short spiky hair as a kid. I was in a haircut magazine. But who knows? If I have the right opportunity to audition for something, I would absolutely love to. I'm not gonna say no. I'm always open to try new stuff.
Season 2 of Avatar from Netflix,
Yeah, I mean, I would be down. If they want to have me as somebody, I'll be anyone. I'll be a random guy in the background that just shows up and like gives them something. Great.
Hey Zach, first of all, bienvenidos. Welcome to Puerto Rico.
Thank you.
My name is Lisette, and I recently just got into the Demon Slayer manga. This is being my first Comic-Con experience, and I told myself the best way to learn about a character is through someone who's in the franchise. And so with that being said, and you being the voiceover for Tanjiro, what would you say I should focus on most as I'm entering these series of Demon Slayer?
Wow. There's a lot. I mean, I would say. Sorry, I'm trying not to like give you any spoilers for the ending.
Go ahead.
No, nobody wants the spoilers. Trust me. No spoilers here. I am not allowed to. The company has made it clear to me. There's so much. I mean, I think Jess really, as a viewer of the show, I feel as though you should try to put yourself in Tanjiro's shoes. I think the show really does its best to make people sympathetic towards him and his situation, and also the other characters around him. So just putting yourself in Tanjiro's shoes and kind of giving yourself over to the show, I would say, getting in that emotional mindset. That's why I love watching Demon Slayer in theaters, because for me personally, when I watched not the movie that just came out, but the one before it. It was like the Swordsmith Village special. And in the special, it shows the last 2 episodes of the Entertainment District and then the first episode of the Swordsmith Village. I had watched those episodes prior to watching it in the theater, but when I watched it in the theater, I legitimately cried. And it's because of the atmosphere. I just was really able to, to put myself in Tanjiro's shoes as a viewer, and it was beautiful. I mean, I loved just watching those scenes. It genuinely made me cry, and the music's fantastic too.
Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Gracias.
Good afternoon, Zach. I wanted to ask you, I've been looking into voice acting. I wanted to play like voice act for a game or anime, whatever. So I wanted to ask you about what advice would you give me to accomplish what I want?
Yeah, I would say take any acting classes that you possibly can. That is definitely the first place to start. As a voice actor, I think that's the most competitive part about this industry. A lot of the people that I audition against are people from Los Angeles. They've studied acting their entire life, or they've been in theater, or even some of them have degrees in theater from, they went to college for it. I didn't do any of that other than kind of like be born into acting like as a kid in a way. My family's not in the industry at all, but my parents for some reason decided they wanted me to be an actor, and then I fell back into it again because I ended up realizing it's something that I love to do. I would say take acting classes, and for voiceover specifically, take voiceover classes too. They help a lot, mic technique. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you can learn, to do with your voice. Even singing is something that's really awesome. That's why, if you mention acting classes, normally a lot of other voice actors will say do theater, and do musical theater, because singing helps a lot with the voice. It helps with your range. So, for me, I figured out
like this was something that was able to do.
And that's from doing just hours of singing training. Just being able to use different parts of my body to make that sound. So highly recommend that. For the business aspect of it, I would say make a demo reel. It's 1 minute long that showcases your acting ability and vocal ability. It's not always about changing your voice, but just really narrowing down, finding the characters that you think resonate the most with your own voice and your own acting style. Make a 1 minute demo reel and send it out to studios that are local to you, whatever that might be, even if that's like a radio station or anything, and see if you can have a chance to audition for them.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I wish you all the best.
Hola, buenas. Quería saber de todos los episodios que grabaste en la serie de Demon Slayer, ¿cuál fue el con el que más te identificas y el más que te marcó?
Yeah, so when you guys are Demon Slayer, what episode was the one that you identified with the most?
Let me think about it. I know it's hard because my favorite episodes are always the ones with Nezuko, like the ending of the Swordsmith Village that is my favorite episode, where he's crying and he shows off that emotion, even though he's like there to protect his younger sister, even though I'm an only child. But I still think it's really sweet, if my family was in that same situation. I would definitely feel very similar to how Tanjiro feels, and just feel frustrated. I mean, you have to keep in mind this is like a kid that is put into this position as he's supposed to save not only his sister but his friends and like everyone around him. So he kind of has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Yeah. I guess sometimes I feel that way, just being a regular dude. But yeah, I don't know. I think that episode is probably the most I can relate to.
I mean, he loves everyone. He only has Netsuko, so
yeah,
you gotta protect her.
Exactly.
At all costs, please.
I generally have two questions. One was, which character did you find the most challenging to act as?
Probably Tanjiro, actually, because of all of his emotions. Very, very emotional character. Because of that, it was just it always kept me on my toes when recording. I had to be prepared for anything. You watch Demon Slayer and you watch Tanjiro, he has a lot of comedic moments. He has a lot of like angry moments. He has a lot of like,
different emotions at the same time type of deal.
yes, and sometimes it's weird in the show. Like it'll be serious, but also comedic. So you have to find a balance of that as an actor. You're like, I want to make it sound super cinematic, but not too much, because you got to be able to go into the comedy like within 3 minutes later.
The second question is, did you have any prior knowledge to Cyberpunk, like the video game franchise, before acting as David?
Yes, I actually played the video game. I never finished it though when I played it, but I did play a little bit of the game. So when we were recording the show, I would point out different references like the koi fish and Delamain, and I thought it was super interesting. And the team loved that because they had no idea that I had played the game at all.
You chose Street Kid or Corporal?
I think I chose Street Kid. Yeah, it's been a minute since I played it. I did go back though at David's Jacket when they did the Edge Runners DLC, and I got Rebecca's shotgun too. I saw people's videos online of them like going and killing Adam Smasher. That was so funny.
For the videos time, yeah.
So you like what's it called? So you really enjoy when you find like those secret messages that mention David like in the slightest.
Yes.
way. Original
Yes. And the Afterlife too. Yeah, I've seen all of it, and I think it's so cool that he's been integrated into the game. I don't even know if that was initially their intention with the show. Because I talked to the producer, and I don't believe she thought that the show was going to be as popular as it became. They didn't even have merchandise of the show. Yeah. So recently I went to Japan just this last year in December, and that's where I got this hoodie actually. This was a gift from one of the producers of CD Projekt Red, and she gave this to me while taking me out to yakiniku, like Japanese barbecue. And she's like, thank you so much for your work, and we just kind of shared some memories about working on the show. And it was really nice because we recorded it during COVID, so I never met her in person. She's all the way in Japan, so she wasn't able to travel over. It was just a really great experience. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
I really loved Edge Runners, and I wanted to ask, specifically in episode 6, there's a scene near the end where you have this really like guttural scream. I don't want to spoil it, but like during that end of episode 6, like what preparations, if any, do you have to take to like get in that mindset to be able to act out a scene like that?
End of episode, is that the one? I'm not going to say anything about like what happens in that episode, but is Maine in that episode?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. That's
okay. I know what episode it is. I knew it was 5 or 6. It was one of those episodes.
Yes. I wasn't sure if it was 6 either.
Yeah. I actually wasn't entirely sure. When I first started working on the show, we had recorded the entirety of episode 1, and that's when the team told me that it was a prequel to the video game. So I didn't even know. They kind of kept a lot of stuff, like I said, very secretive. When I first auditioned for the role of David, I didn't know if it was for Cyberpunk. I saw like a little design that looked cyberpunk-ish. Yes, I just assumed it was that sort of style, and because I played the game, I tried to put 2 and 2 together, but I wasn't certain until I went in to record, and I had to ask the producers themselves. I said, hey, is this related to the video game? And they're like, yeah, we're from CD Projekt Red. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I wish I would have known, you know? Cool, but all worked out. Thank you.
Hi, Zach.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. My name is Waldemar. The question I have is, when you was actually seeing anime, right? With your dream of being a voice actor, how can you say to that kid you did the dream?
Yes, I can. To be honest with you, I never thought I would make it this far. When I first started working as an actor in the industry, I did a lot of additional voices, like background work for anime. I did background work for a show called Kill la Kill, and I played like
these muscly like football players.
These muscly football players in the background of that show, and so you never would have known that, I was a part of that. I remember going home that day, and I got like my first little paycheck from doing that. And I was like, Mom, I made it, like, I'm in the show. but I was really happy, like, I was perfectly content with making it that far as a voice actor. I never would have imagined that I would be multiple main characters in all of these different, like, beloved franchises. I mean, it's still kind of surreal to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hey.
So my question is from Genshin Impact. So when you went to audition, like to get cast, do you audition for Ether or do you audition for another character?
Yeah, so I remember I did audition for multiple characters. I auditioned for Ether. I think I might have auditioned for Venti, I'm not sure. But I know for a fact I auditioned for Razor. So I almost was Razor, and now I do my impression of Razor. Razor seed flower. Razor eat flower. Razor. But yeah, it definitely didn't sound like that. It was like so scratchy. Because when I looked at the audition, the script for the game, they didn't show any pictures, so I had no idea what these characters looked like at all. It just had descriptions. So it said Razor's voice was supposed to be really scratchy and, doing the audition, I was like hurting my throat. I'm like, ow, this kind of hurts. I hope I don't get this guy because then I'm gonna have to keep doing this, for a long time. But yeah, the director called me and said, hey, congrats, you're playing this guy, Ether, and he's got a ton of lines in the game, it's gonna be awesome. But he didn't realize, the director he didn't realize that the lines he had seen in the script were sorted incorrectly because the Traveler's lines and Paimon's lines, the way that they make the script in Genshin, are, for some reason, they're paired together. All of those lines were for Paimon, and not me. So, I ended up going in for my first recording session, and we usually do them in blocks of 4 hours. And yeah, they said, like, oh, cool, yeah, so, all right, we got a lot of lines for you, like hundreds of lines today. And I go in and I recorded probably 5 lines. And it took me roughly 2 minutes. And then they said, oh, so the script was sorted incorrectly. Yeah, this is all we have for you. And then I went home. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Do you have a studio at home?
I do. Yes. Yeah. I have a home recording studio. Funny enough, when you watch Mugen Train, I recorded all of Mugen Train from my house.
Okay.
Yeah, during COVID, we kind of had to. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's freaking awesome. It took a long time to put together that.
Hi.
Hey.
Nice to see you again, by the way.
Oh yeah, great to see you.
I have a question about your travel here in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Have you been to other places or travel around, places that you like here?
So I've only really had like one free day for the most part, and I just spent it all on the beach. I got here and I like fell asleep in the sun, got sunburned. I went into the water and I had the lifeguard yelling at me to not go like swim in the water here because like the current's really bad.
Yes.
But I guess it's not always like this, is what she said. So yeah, 'cause I'm like, I don't know, I thought there was like some kid doing something stupid, and she was like blowing the whistle. Turns out I was that kid doing something, which was kind of funny, but yeah, I don't know. I'm born and raised California. I'm always in the beach. Like I'm like I know how to swim. Like I was like a junior lifeguard. I swam around a pier. Like I'm fine. I didn't even notice it, but I guess yeah, you got to be careful out there.
Yeah. And do you prefer beaches here in Puerto Rico?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like no question about it. I mean, California, like if I were to live somewhere else, it'd probably be out here towards the east, like Florida-ish, or even here in Puerto Rico, just because like the water is much warmer, the climate is awesome. I love the weather out here. I mean, honestly, California's been cold and kind of stormy for like the past year or so.
Rice.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's freezing, so yeah, love it.
I get it. I get it. Hey, I'm not gonna take more of your time because there's other people. So have a great day and nice to see you again.
Thank you. You too. Great to see you.
Hi, I've been a fan for years and I wanted to know if you have tried Puerto Rican food and if you have, what has been your favorite?
I haven't yet. So tonight will be the night that I go. Some people have been recommending mofongo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fried mofongo.
Yeah. What else? Anything else?
Bacalaíto.
Fried. Plantains is fried, everything's fried.
Yeah, it's stuff with meat or fish or seafood, anything you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And bacalaitos, I heard bacalaitos is like fried fish. So it's like it's huge. It's so crunchy, so delicious.
Really?
It's my favorite one.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I gotta go. Or, go somewhere if I can. At least like Uber Eats a place or something nearby so I can try the food. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So earlier you mentioned how you were like really excited to be like a part of Dragon Ball Superhero.
Yeah.
So I was wondering like, are there any other like characters or like franchises that you would like want to be a part of?
Yeah, I mean, other than Avatar, that'd be so cool. I think, I mean, Naruto is that's kind of past. I would have loved to be a part of Naruto because I grew up watching that show. Let me think. What else is what's a really good one? I know a lot of people are huge on One Piece right now. I've actually already been a part of One Piece.
Yep.
Funny enough, I played a guy called Gyro in like 2 episodes of the show sometime. I did that years ago, and it was like
One of my lower voices.
so people don't really recognize that it's me when they hear it. This is kind of gonna be random, but probably SpongeBob. If I could, I am a huge fan of the voice actor SpongeBob Tom Kenny. He's absolutely fantastic, and I'd love to work alongside him one day. Yeah, thank you.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, so I'll be all for now. Any last words or greet to your fans here on the island?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you all so much for welcoming me here and for coming out to see me. I can't tell you how much it means. The response has been crazy. I did not expect so many people to come. So for all of those who made it here to the panel and for those of you who waited yesterday and today, I want to say thank you so much for your patience. I know some people were coming up to me yesterday like, dude, I waited like 3 hours for you, but it was worth it. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I had no idea that it was going to be this crazy, but yeah, thank you guys so much. I would absolutely love to return. So if you would like to see me come back, please let the convention know. Yes, I promise next time I come, I will work on my Spanish. I speak like a little bit and I understand like bits and phrases, so I know what people are talking about for the most part, but it's kind of bad, so that's why I'm embarrassed. I can't.
That's why when you do your videos, you put Dora in your videos.
Dora?
Yeah.
Do you mean Kathleen or?
Yeah, I mean when you edit your videos, you put Dora the Explorer sometimes when you're speaking in Spanish.
Wait, what? What are you talking about? What video?
I think the one that you did on a con. I think I don't know.
I might have done a video with Kathleen. I think she asked me to do one with her. Yeah, so maybe that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, she's super sweet, by the way. If you ever have a chance to meet her, she's freaking awesome. But yeah, next time, I promise, I will work on it.
So, excelente. So, once again, un aplauso para Aguilar.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, guys.